Oh, Gary Nasai Minasan, today we're gonna talk about Kamen Rider Geats episode 11. If this is your first time here, this video focus not only reviewing the episode but a lot of speculation as well. So I would encourage you to be a part of the conversation. If you see anything I said in the video that might have actually piqued your interest, comment in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. With that being said, let us start from the beginning by talking about my overall thoughts of the episode. Very amazing stuff. I felt like the director did a really amazing job in introducing us to this new game of the Jyamato ladder breed itself, and holy shit, I was on the edge of my seat because it really seems like our rider is at pinch. They are having trouble defeating the Jyamato. That is so crazy, okay? Seeing that happening, I don't know, man, really crazy stuff. But let me move on to the second thing that I want to talk about, and that is the wishes of S. Ukiyo. Once again, in the previous video, I talked about the 4 previous wishes of Ukiyo S. The first one being that he wants to participate in every DGP. The second wish is that he wants to be he wants to live in a world where he doesn't need to work. And then the third wish is to become the stars of the stars of the stars. And the fourth one is that the DGP staff or management to become his family. And lastly, the latest one, if he won this round of the DGP, his wish is to become the staff of the DGP itself. So this is really interesting. Why does S decide to do this? It is obviously to find out more about this godly organization that seems godly, okay? Because I felt like one thing that one of the topic that I recently is reading up recently is cult. Like I felt like cult, and like how do you differentiate a cult from a church? Cult have their own teaching, they have their own doctrine and all the stuff, and most of the time cult has a front. Cult might seems like very inviting, they seems like they know what they are talking about, but secretly behind they are actually using this cult to gain some money, to maybe like have a harem of their own, you know, like sometimes they'll spread the news that hey, it is okay to have sex with a lot of people, you know, like just give into your desire or something like that. So what if the DGP right now, it might look in the front, it look like a kind of quite a godly organization, quite a godly thing that is happening because of how of the teleportation of everything that we actually saw them doing. It really seems like they have technology that is beyond human capability. But what if behind the scene all of these are possible, all of this technology is actually possible and made by human itself? It is nothing godly at all. So if that is the case, it would mean that the DGP itself has to need to have a little bit of sponsors and all the stuff, and that is where Neon comes in, where the Kurama Foundation actually comes in. What if behind the scene the Kurama Foundation is one of the sponsors that is sponsoring the DGP right now? Okay, so that would actually make sense why Neon would actually be invited back again into the DGP to get a little bit more financial from the Kurama Foundation, something like that. Okay, so it is really fun to speculate, and another reason that I felt like why S latest wish is to become the staff of DGP is not only to find out about the DGP, but I would say it is also to find out what actually happened to his mother. And I felt like maybe he has a little bit of suspicion that what if S mother was like participated in the original DGP round or something like that. Maybe I don't know, like maybe the mother actually become kind of like one of the management of the DGP, or maybe like as mother became a Jyamato, but not any random Jyamato. Maybe she became kind of like a Queen Jyamato or something like that. But I feel like the Queen Jyamato theory might have to be thrown away right now, because right now we actually get to see in this episode how the Jyamato was being breeded in this episode, and based on what I see is that they're made out of plant rather than like a human hatching stuff. They don't come out from a mother, something like they don't come out from an egg, but they actually came from a tree. And it almost seems like the Helheim Forest from Kamen Rider Gaim from my memory itself. So the idea of having the king and queen of the Jyamato doesn't seem that likely to exist, especially now that we know the DGP is actually the one behind creating Jyamato. Okay, they are directly involved, and I don't think they want to give the Jyamato a social hierarchy for them to worship their own, kind of like their own king and their own queen. Because if they actually have their own king and queen, then they can actually start a rebellion. They can start something that is gonna tag the DGP down also. And the DGP, based on what we know, is not immortal. Okay, they are not unbeatable. Someone can beat the system, someone can manipulate the system, and like I said, the system can be hacked. When I say hack, it doesn't mean that it's a technological hack, but it can also be in a socially manner, in a more psychologically manner, something like that. The DGP right now is compromised not only by us, but also by the breeder that is breeding the Jyamato. Because based on what we see here, it's like the breeder, almost the way he talks, like he says like this is your ash Jyamato, something like that. And I felt like the way how he was treasuring the Jyamato, it almost seems like he fed up. He got fed up of how the Jyamato was being treated, and he just wanted the Jyamato to rule over the DGP. Like, why do I have to see my precious baby die in every single round of the DGP for random people entertainment, maybe for the VIPs entertainment? What if like he that breeder got fed up and like, F this shit, we are gonna do this ourselves, like we're gonna take over the world, we are no longer gonna be slave to the DGP, something like that, and they decide to become Spartacus and rebel against their own master, something like that. Okay, what if that is the thing that we are gonna see here from the Jyamato and from the breeder itself? How does Neon's father fit into all this? I do not know, but we are definitely gonna see more of it in the next episode, or maybe moving forward in the future. Okay, and speaking of Neon's father, it is really interesting that Neon's father allowed Neon to join the DGP. Why? We do not know. Maybe it is for her to grow, maybe for her to be in the DGP so that the father can manipulate Neon or something like that. We do not know, but it is quite obvious that the father of Neon knows something about the DGP. So very interesting stuff that we actually get to see here. But I would say the next thing I want to talk about is we actually have confirmation from Sumori that the DGP was supposed to be neutral in the game itself. They're not supposed to help the rider, they're not supposed to sabotage any rider at all. So but now that Geats have won too many times and Geats is starting to ask questions about the DGP, the game master Giroli is getting a little bit nervous and scheming to interfere and sabotage with Geats itself. Sumori doesn't seem to agree with this, even though that she really hated the idea of being the sister of S. Okay, so this is really interesting stuff that I really respect Sumori for that, because like despite her not liking the wish that S Ukyo actually makes, Sumori still doesn't, how do I say, she doesn't change her value based on what she likes and what she doesn't like. She values the rule and she's gonna stand firm on the rule itself. She's not gonna be like, oh, just because I don't like you, I want to purposely sabotage you, something like that. So something very respectable from Sumori there that I really love. By the way, this episode, Sumori is also like the best girl in this episode. When she was shot by when they got teleported there and there's no platform, she was shot and then all of them fall together. There's like absolute cuteness. Okay, I can't describe my I don't know, man. She's just really cute. But we need to talk about the next thing, and that is the desire card doesn't actually accept the wish of S to meet with the mother itself. So based on what S actually said is that the desire card rejected this wish. We do not know why, but we have a big theory, and that is S mom is already dead, so that the DGP is not capable of resurrecting people and all those stuff. So all the lies about how like if when Tycoon won the DGP, he can just wish for the resurrection of Ginpan and all those stuff is all lies. Okay, I feel like that is all lies. That is not ever gonna happen. But that is like one possible theory. Another theory is that, like I said earlier on in the video, S mom could actually be a Jyamato, or maybe she is like one of the management of the DGP or something like that. We do not know. Okay, but really interesting stuff. But I'm here to take a pause from the episode. What do I say? The episode theory or theory crafting and all those stuff, and share with all of you something that I realized when I'm watching this episode, and that is the name Jyamato. Jama in Japanese means like a disturbance. I don't know what is the proper way to actually describe the word Jama, but it's like blocking, a hindrance or disturbance of something when you want to go to a certain direction. So I felt like the name Jyamato is like the perfect name for the enemy of our rider, because our rider is fighting to fulfill their own desire, and they have a desire to achieve, and the one that is blocking their way, in a sense, in jamaing them, is actually called the Jyamato. So I just figure I want to share that with all of you, that I actually learned from this episode. Really fun stuff. And another thing that I really enjoy about this episode is that finally someone acknowledged that the Jyamato actually have their own language. Like Bafa was like, what are you guys mumbling about and all those stuff. So finally someone acknowledged this. From the very first episode, I have been talking about this Jyamato having their own language, Jyamato having the ability to speak since episode 1, and I just felt like this is definitely something that not a lot of people I see is talking about. Most of them treat them like a, how do I say, the monster of the week, something like that. But I really see Jyamato as a more higher intelligent monster that all of us really need to take more seriously. We are not sure whether or not they are the dead rider or not, because I felt like when we saw the rider broken ID code on the floor, we would automatically assume that all these Jyamato that we see being bred by that person are actually the human that loses in the DGP itself. But it might not be the case, because like I said, the way the Jyamato was being bred out from the tree and all those stuff, it almost seems like they are absorbing the nutrient or the nutrient of the human, of the body itself, but they are not being directly converted into Jyamato. Okay, I don't think that is the case here. But if that is the case, that would be really amazing, because one of you guys actually commented a really amazing theory, and that is the theory when, like, how the dead rider become Jyamato is a amazing theory, because the Jyamato are people that is not able to fulfill their own desire, and they died with regrets of not being able to fulfill their desire. So now they have their desire is so strong that they actually became Jyamato bosses and all those stuff. Like, certain bosses are really OP, and this is the reason, because their desire is stronger than some random people that just wishes to have a girlfriend or the first sex in their life, something like that. Okay, so this is something really fun to speculate. So let me know in the comment section below, what are you actually thinking about when you heard about this. And next thing we want to talk about is obviously the Fever Slot Rise Buckle. So apparently Giroli is not heartless and soulless at all. He knows that he needs to help out with the rider after seeing that, hey, something weird is going on. He sent in an emergency SOS item. Basically, the Fever Slot, I would say, it was supposed to be kind of like a cheat item for Punk Jack to beat the shit out of Geats, I would assume. But since they are in an emergency, so he basically sent everyone a fever slot rice buckle. It can be any rice buckle they want. So really amazing stuff. But this is also the scene where we also got the confirmation that Giroli didn't actually plan for the Jyamato rider at all. Like, he was shocked, he was being confused, but he actually managed to keep his calm. He says that, oh, the Jyamato is constantly evolving and all the stuff, but he did not ask for this. He did not ask for this upgrade. So someone in the DGP is trying to take down Giroli, because my previous video, I actually have quite a lot of theory about this. Like, what my theory is that in the DGP itself, there is like a lot of different departments. There is like the rider department, there's the Jyamato department, and then there's like the game department. I felt like there are like at least three departments. The rider department is responsible in designing the rise buckle, designing the desire driver and all those stuff, and then we actually get to see the Jyamato department, which is raising the Jyamato and all those stuff, and lastly the game department, which is, I would say, the biggest and the highest department, where they think about what is the game that they're gonna do in the next round and what game will be involved in this round of the DGP, something like that. Really fun stuff, but really interesting. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is Neon and also S. Both of them are actually talking more and more about wanting to find out more about the DGP, and they actually have conversation about their wishes, and it's like Neon is also curious about what the DGP is doing, and both of them seems to want to find out more about it. So moving forward, we're definitely gonna see more S and Neon playing detective, trying to find out the truth of the DGP. I'm not so sure KY is gonna join them on this journey or not after KY got his memory and also his original desire back, because we know for a fact that KY is definitely gonna get his driver back. I mean like, he was being teased to us in the trailer for Kamen Rider Geats and Kamen Rider Revised movie Battle Royale, so he's definitely gonna make a return. But lastly, I just want to talk about how Buffa actually knew the secret of Pangjek is gonna sabotage Geats. Okay, so that is a really interesting thing that we actually get to see from Buffa. And based on Buffa character development in the first arc itself, Buffa will definitely not help Pangjek in defeating Geats, because Buffa want to defeat Geats himself. So we are not gonna see both of them working together. And lastly, before I end the video, is like really crazy stuff, and that is the fact we actually got two references in a single action scene. First off, we actually get to see Geats doing the classic Akira pose, the bike sliding action, and then we also got a Devil May Cry reference where Geats uses a bike as kind of like an axe, as a weapon to hit the Jyamato rider. That is a technique, that is an attack used by Dante in the latest Devil May Cry game, and that is really crazy. Okay, so KY is gonna make a return next week as the Kamen Rider Tycoon once again, and we are gonna see a happy ending for this week of Kamen Rider Geats. I'm not so sure whether or not the old man is gonna survive or not. I really hope that he survived past this round of the game, so that in the third round of the game, we are gonna start to see KY being the protector of Kero, and then we're gonna see Buffa and Pangjek having a little bit of like team up going on, maybe kind of a little bit of beef going on. Like, at the end of the day, it might be Buffa that is the one that is sabotaging Pangjek rather than Pangjek sabotaging S, in a sense. Okay, so really amazing episode. Like I said, I don't know what else to actually talk about in this episode, but there is, I felt like there is one thing that I would definitely make another video about, and that is why Sumari actually decided to pick up a new habit that he learned from KY, which is doing the weekly vlogging session. Okay, very fun stuff. But that is all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you actually make it until the very end of the video, I just want you to comment the word Tanuki in the comment section below, so that I know you actually finished the video, okay? Tanuki, why? Because Keiwa is gonna come back as the legendary Ninja Tycoon. And I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Goodbye.